of today.
It's interesting you point out all the non-professional jugglers, and I kind of think of juggling as a meditation and a personal thing. But all the juggling clubs around, like in college, just a certain they met a certain time. They all juggle. Everybody had implements, and you did have people to pass with. That's
Yeah.
all technical juggling, really. Not a lot of people are talking to you about performance things when you do that sort of thing.
Most people are
Make a
learning
mobile
at
out
that
of
point.
Yeah.
They aren't taking it on the road, and they don't need an app.
But when there's some
say.
pro there, he's not in here, smile while you do that mode. Like that's the kind of thing that
Yeah.
pisses off Jason Garfield.
Yeah.
I'll put in a link to an interview we watched when he was on the John McEnroe show too, and that's one of the things that bothers him. And but you don't get a lot of that, even from the performers.
My question to you, Jason Garfield, is how can you not smile when you're juggling?
Yeah.
It makes me laugh. It makes
good
me
line,
happy.
Carolyn.
You know?
How about our deck? Isn't it nice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolyn says he spends most of his time out here.
I know. I
We
meet
do.
with you out
Yeah.
here on the deck now. But
So I'm gonna have to cut that part
but
out.
I don't want to diss Jason Garfield either because he was technically awesome.
Oh, yeah.
He was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's an
especially the
incredible
competition.
juggler.
He started a competition more
Yeah.
in line with what he likes, and we watched that video, and I'll put that link too.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah. Watch
his
him
throws
and
were a lot
learn.
better than in the disc video. I thought the disc video, there was some impressive stuff that I don't know a lot of people that could do it, but his throws, there's a lot of those amazing catches as opposed to just crisp throwing and
Yeah.
stuff. Whereas, what is that? What WGJ? WFJ.
International Jugglers
No,
Association.
that's not the one
IGA.
he's done. He did the
Oh.
WJF, I think it is, or something. Anyway, in that one, he had
Yeah.
it was really nice to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good
Yeah,
juggler.
he's awesome.
Well,
He's
you were
awesome.
talking about how he did
He's
have an
so
act.
good.
He does have an act.
Oh,
the
definitely.
guy is
He's a
part of his
surly
act.
juggler. Yeah.
You could tell
Yeah.
on the McEnroe show he has a few jokes, and you recognize some teaching jokes
Yes.
that you
Yeah.
use.
A few lines that are pretty familiar.
What one
to
was
us.
that?
What was that? I don't know.
Oh, you don't have to
It
reach
was
up to
about-
catch it. Gravity,
oh, gravity will bring it down.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
That was one. That, yeah,
You
as a
remind people there's
teacher
such a
we
thing as
used.
gravity.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting thing about juggling, I think, is that really when you do juggling, there's a little while where you need the muscle coordination to be able to throw it towards the other hand. But after that, people are in a hurry, and usually you
Yeah.
tell them to slow down. They
Yep,
think they
it's a
need to go
lot about
faster,
timing.
and you got to go slower and wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more
be
waiting
patient.
than you realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is.
That's one of the things
Well,
I like about it.
but I do appreciate excellence, and I like that he's pushing it, the envelope to excellence. It's just that he's taken a different path than performance juggling, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what I like as
Yeah.
much, but it's good
Yeah.
to push the envelope. It's like we used to, when I was a kid, we had roller skates with 4 wheels. And
Well, you
now
notice-
kids are zooming around on everything.
Did you notice the competition? What did you think of the setting there? Because it was on ESPN and it was all sports like.
Oh, that was great.
Did you think the set? I mean, in terms
Yeah.
of that issue, yeah, I thought
I
they
thought
didn't
that
have a
was
big
great.
black background or
Yeah,
something.
they
It was
put him
pretty
in a big
straightforward.
sports arena, like a
Yeah.
boxing ring or
And
something.
that was another one that showed he
Yeah.
was joking because he dropped one, and I thought it looked a little
Yeah.
intentional. And he had ball boys come out to
Yeah.
bring him a ball. That was
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well,
was preset. Yeah.
So he
yeah.
So he has. Well, what do you think then about this idea of? So let's say he does have a shtick of being a little more surly about this stuff, making
Mm-hmm.
fun of them because it's a joke. On the other hand, he's making a lot of jokes when he's on the obviously prepared things, and and he's a performer and he's a
And
grandstander
yeah,
and
he
stuff.
is.
Well, what do
He
you think
is,
about
he's
him
sure.
using a shtick like that? It's a little insulting to a juggling community, maybe, or at least to Chris Bliss in
Well,
particular. Whichever, it's
I don't know,
insulting in a way.
I'd say ask Butterfly Man. Can
Do
I
you think-
use your shtick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Because you've seen
'Cause
it
it's-
before.
Sure, it's not new.
But do you think
know?
it's good
So
then that
was
he's using that to
WBC
start sports?
Butterfly Man would have had to ask W.C. Fields. It's old. It's
So you think it's
timeless,
fine if he's
it's
just
great.
using that
It's
as a
great,
way to
yeah.
promote his kind of juggling?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
he doesn't really mind the street
Yeah.
performers as much as he says, but he's right
Yeah.
that's the only kind of juggling there is out there, and we do need sports
Pretty
juggling.
much, unless it's on a commercial or you go to where they're juggling. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and he was definitely entertaining, but Chris Bliss flowed. He danced.
Yeah, that
He
was a piece of
moved.
art. Well, I
It
think the
was.
other
It was
thing is he's
beautiful.
forgetting is there's sort of a cheap entertainment that the apple eating bothers me too. I mean, when I go to the wharf in San Francisco or something, I'm never expect to see juggling that's going to entertain me.
Really?
And those guys have some good tricks, but they don't do them. There's this couple lame
I'm
tricks.
jaded. I mean, I've seen a lot of juggling, and it is all old. It's all vaudeville. It's all been done before, unless you're super creative and new, you know. And
Well, I don't know. When the jugglers give themselves a
I
show,
don't
like
mind.
I'm always impressed.
yeah,
But
Yeah,
when the
that's-
same jugglers could do a show for the audience and impress the audience, and so I'm sympathetic to the fact that there isn't enough of that kind of juggling. But
I'm just not as technical as I am.
well, what really bothers me is I
Performance-based,
think
I
he's
guess.
forgetting that's so maybe there's an entertainment kind of quality where it's just to make a buck, and there's nothing wrong with that if you're doing that. But if you're
Nothing
out
wrong
for
with
something
that.
more, to watch something more, you're not going to be the one impressed. But what he doesn't quite get, or at least his shtick doesn't get, is that there's the artistic side. And Chris Bliss is not the guy to attack about the apple eating thing. He went on the artistic side of juggling, showed it's a true art. Jason Garfield wants to show that it's a true sport, and that's the beautiful
cool.
thing. It is both of those things.
It is. It could be Olympic.
I think
It's
more
true.
so.
You know, it's very
Well, I'm
technical.
biased, but
It
more
could be
so than
Olympic.
say figure skating, which is an art and a sport. But to me, I just see there's a really deep potential of art in juggling, and it's a motion
Yeah.
art like dance,
Yeah.
and there's a really tremendous. You see how buff
Well, Michael Moschen
Jason
showed us that years ago.
I'll put a
what you
Michael
can
Motion
do.
clip up
Oh,
there
my
too,
goodness.
because I think he's the best juggler
Oh my
ever.
goodness! Has anybody?
And he's
come
basically a
that
dancer.
close? He's beautiful. He's just so fluid.
He does throws I
And
didn't
he's-
think you could do.
Well, he does physics and motion and music
sound.
and art and
Yeah.
sound and.
I would love to know
all
what
of it.
Jason
He's-
Garfield thinks
he's
about Michael
Super
Motion.
technical. That
Yeah.
guy is super technical, but he's an artist at the same time.
Yeah.
He brings it, through with charm. or
There's a
art.
great TED Talk, which I don't know if you know the TED Talks, but really great people do these things. Like there's this brain scientist who happened to have a stroke, and she analyzed what was going on, and it was very interesting insight. And they have really cool talks like that. Or there's one where anyway, Michael Motion does a TED Talk. It's really good. He's just
Oh,
juggling.
I'd
He
like to hear
drops and everything because he's juggling, talking about motion and time, and it's really interesting.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, Michael Motion, I think, is the best juggler, and he's almost not a juggler. He's just a motion artist that is as likely. And there's another one I've showed you this recently, the Greg Kennedy guy.
He was awesome. Yep. Time
Also
for
does
dinner.
kinetic sculpture and things. So,
Maybe we should sign on.
see, we can't put that on the video
Why not?
because I didn't.
Oh, you're not staying for dinner.
No, I'm not saying, but I'm here for dinner.
Well, you're invited for dinner if you'd like to stay.
Okay.
We can put that on the video.
Okay. All right. Cheers. Say goodbye.
Cheers.